Our first example we're looking at is to state the changes necessary to transform the graph of y equals x cubed into the graph of y equals 2 outside of x plus 1 cubed minus 4. So this is going to work the same way as we did with the parabolas. So first of all, we start with dilations, and so we can see that it is dilated by a factor of 2 parallel to the y-axis. Then we can see there's no negative there and there's no negative here, so we don't need to talk about reflections. Translations, however, okay, this particular function is a translation of, or it's translated, here we've got x plus 1, so it's going to be translated to the left by 1 unit, and the negative 4 means it's translated down 4 units. Now we're looking at doing some sketching. So for this particular graph here, y equals negative x plus 3 all cubed minus 1. We can see here with the negative means that it is a reflection in the x-axis. So it's going to start high and go down low. So it's going to have that shape. And we can write straight away what the turning point will be. Okay, not the turning point, the stationary point of inflection will be negative 3, because this is x plus 3, so it's negative 3 and negative 1. Okay, so it's shifted to the left 3 units and down 1 unit. Let's find our intercepts. So our y-intercept occurs when x equals 0. So we go y equals negative, that'll be 0 plus 3 cubed minus 1. So 3 cubed is 27. That makes it negative 27 minus 1, so it'll be negative 28. So that's our y-intercept. X-intercept, we let y equal 0, and so we have 0 equals negative x plus 3 cubed minus 1. So then let's bring this over to the left hand side. So we have x plus 3 on the left hand side will be positive, equals negative 1. We need to undo the cube, so that means cube root both sides. So we've got x plus 3 equals the cube root of negative 1, which is negative 1. And then solving for x, negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Okay, so now we can sketch the graph. So, turning stationary point of inflection, cross 3, down 1. Okay, we know it's shaped like this, so we can come down like that. And we'll just go down a long way here, just to highlight our y-intercept at negative 28. And that intercept there is negative 4, and our stationary point of inflection at negative 3, negative 1. Okay, we'll do the same thing with this one. You'll notice this one looks a little bit different. So what we're going to do is, rather than trying to do some guesswork with what's happening here, let's rearrange it so that it's in the form y equals a outside of x minus h cubed plus k. So this could also be written as y equals negative x plus 4 cubed plus 6. Okay, so just by, because you'll notice here the 4 is positive, but the x here is negative, so we can write it like this. So what we'll do is we'll take our negative out as a factor. So you saw in my explanation of the notes, that's what I did before. So negative outside of, the x becomes positive and the 4 becomes negative. And now we apply the cube here, the power of 3, to this negative 1. So negative 1 to the power of 3 is negative 1. So we'll just make that negative. Then we've got x minus 4 cubed plus 6. That makes it clear that it is, again, a reflection in the x-axis. Okay, so it's shaped like that. And we know our stationary point of inflection is 4, 6. And we just need to find our intercepts. So that we have y equals, now x will be 0, so that's 4 cubed. I'm just basing off this here because our x is negative, our x is 0, so that becomes 4 cubed plus 6. So y equals 4 cubed is 64 plus 6, that's a 70. And our x-intercept, okay, so then we have y equal to 0, so we have, if I make our 6 negative, so we've got 4 minus x cubed equals negative 6. Take the cube root, so we have 4 minus x equals the cube root of negative 6, which is not a nice number. We'll just leave it as an exact value. And then we have negative x equals the cube root of negative 6 minus 4, and then multiply throughout by negative 1. So we have x equals, this will become positive 4, and then minus the cube root of negative 6. That's our answer as an exact value. It is worthwhile at this point, in terms of sketching, we just really want to know where that is, and it's not immediately obvious where it is. So if we just put it in our calculator and we go 4 minus, I'm just doing it on my calculator here, or minus negative 6 to the power of, it'll be 1/3 is the same as the cube root. Okay, and that as an exact answer we have, but as a decimal is 5.8. So it's approximately equal to 5.8. At least that helps us to know whereabouts to mark in our x-intercept. So then we can do our sketch. Okay, I just want to emphasize, even though I'm not using a ruler here because it's not very easy on the computer, just when you're doing it, just put your axes in there with a ruler. Just makes it neat and easy to understand. Okay, so we've got our station point of inflection at 4, 6. So maybe here somewhere. We know, actually, I'll locate a little bit different here because we've got our intercept here at 70. And it is a sketch, so it doesn't have to be exactly to scale. Let's try and give a bit of an idea here. So that's at 70, and this is 4, 6, and our position here. So that's going to be 4, minus cube root of negative 6 as our x value and our y value of 0. And finally, this example, which we're given the function, we just need to find the actual rule, okay, in our form. So we can identify here our stationary point of inflection of 1, 3. So we can write straight away y equals a x minus 1 cubed plus 3. We just don't know our value for a. We can see that it will be negative because it's starting up high and finishing down low, but we don't need to put that in now. If we just use this value, so substitute 0, 5, because that's the other number we know, okay, we know that value, we can substitute that in, the negative will be taken care of. Okay, so then we can substitute, we go, well, 5 equals a outside of 0 minus 1, so it's minus 1 cubed plus 3, and then bring the 3 over so that it becomes 2 equals negative 1 cubed is negative 1, so that's negative a, so that means a equals negative 2. So then we can write our equation, which will be y equals negative 2 at the front of x minus 1 cubed plus 3.